Oh, welcome to the Game Professors Podcast, where the students have taken over and we profess our love and hate for all things video games. Today, we talk about how Gamescom delivered the new game goodies, the phoenix that is Arcane's developers rise again under a new name and brought along some tidbits about Dishonored and Redfall. We get into the hire the old devs request and a second helping of tidbits, this time about old Halo games. We avoid the wet floor as GTA leaks continue and Rockstar tries to mop up the mess with litigation. And finally, we end with some interesting Sony patents, a CYA email, and a supposed blacklist in India. But to begin with, it's confirmed. Xbox Disc to Digital was officially announced today, as of this recording, August 26th, so yesterday if you're listening to this, via an Xbox wire post by VP of Next Generation Jason Ronald, framed as a major step forward towards quote-unquote game preservation, allowing players to migrate their physical libraries forward as gaming hardware and distribution methods continue to evolve, which is a great way to market it. I mean, the only reason they chose game preservation is because of the discussion around the forced digital evolution of Sony and GTA. So and if you want more information on this, you can listen to the previous, was it last week or the week before, where we got into more details about the rumors and how it was going to work, and we were all right. It's basically using that baked-in system that was originally announced back in 2013 for the Xbox, and it's going to be put in a disc, tie it to your system, you get a digital version of it, you can do it on Xbox Play Anywhere, on cloud gaming, and if you sell the disc, get rid of the disc, it's stolen, it's lent out, whatever, just like a physical copy, if someone then claims it, you lose access to the digital version that you have, which, sure, it's tied, basically the disc is the key, if you lose the key, you can't get in to play anymore. That's how it's going to work, which is fine. I love the program. I'd love to see it go into the future. I'd love to see the new Xbox, whenever that comes out, to use even just a standard USB disk drive to put in a game, to use it as a key. That would be fantastic. And supposedly it's going to work with thousands of titles, but won't be available for everything initially. And right out of the gate, original Xbox and Xbox 360 discs are not supported because they don't have that baked-in kind of system that 2013 Xbox had. So it's real. It's happening. It's going to start rolling out for Xbox Insider program starting August 31st. And outside of that, there's no official date for a public rollout. Heru, yay, nay, great.
I mean, I don't see any downsides to this, right?
No.
All the downsides came in 2013. So,
yeah. And it ended up becoming a real life thing anyways,
right.
13 years later. So
exactly.
Might as well get this benefit out of it.
Now, I mean, the way that this seems to work is that, if you break the disc, you're fine. As long as nobody else tries to claim it, which nobody else can, the disc is gone, then it will forever be on your account.
Yes,
and
it does not seem like there's a tie-in thing that you have to check back in. At the moment, who knows once it's rolled out, but at the moment it doesn't seem like there's a constant DRM check-in. It's just, as soon as it goes into another console, it's stripped from your system, essentially. So, it does feel like you could just destroy the disc, but then kind of defeats the purpose of having physical media, so...
Right. Well, and I wouldn't doubt if their, semi-purpose of this is for people to be able to get rid of physical media or not have to worry about the physical media quite as much, right? Some people love to show off that collection and, more power to them. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the fact that there are so many companies out there that are taking away what we viewed as lifetime licenses, then it wouldn't even be a problem, right? But because this is now starting to happen, and we're talking like single player games and movies and stuff like that. We're not talking like an MMO that has a constant recurring subscription, so on and so forth, or anything like that. Like, we're talking about something that is just like, you play it, no one else, that's it, right?
Yep.
Those are the kinds of licenses that we're really worried about, because they shouldn't even be licenses. They are a product at the end of the day. They are not a service. They are a product.
Yeah, it should be something that you own that can't be revoked.
Yeah, it should be a perpetual license, so to speak.
True.
Right.
And the thing here is the timing is perfect, because I actually removed it out of the script here, but I did read that it was in the source code for a while, right? And it was like a basically enable disable type thing that they had added, which means they had been working on this before the Sony announcement. So the timing is perfect. So I assume someone somewhere within Xbox said, hey, we have this technology. We could enable it to get like an extra feature for the console. And everyone was like, yeah, we've already invested in the infrastructure back in 2013. Let's just do it. And then they were gifted an opportunity on a silver platter, with the Sony and GTA news, and so everyone was like, yes, do it now.
Yeah, they're like, oh, cool. They laid down the landscape for us to release this and win.
Yep. Now, they'll have a great advantage if they actually continue it in some form into the next console generation, because if they don't, then there'll be a problem. And I actually saw a thing today that I didn't put in here about potential supply line disruptions for digital disc drives, because it seems like as companies are abandoning it, the companies that would make a piece here and a piece here and a piece here, that whole system's kind of collapsing in and of itself. So, gosh, if you can't even get disc drives in the future, what's the point of having a disc? So...
True. The thing is if we really wanted to lean into this system while kind of keeping everything in a digital landscape, you could absolutely just mass produce a bunch of 1 gigabyte USBs.
True.
Or honestly, not even 1 gigabyte.
Well, could you in this climate? That's memory.
I mean, I think you could, right? Because
I bet that would be way more expensive than a CD right now.
Potentially. I mean, we're so terrible about reusing technology. It's absolutely insane. But like, we could easily just use like a 256 meg USB drive, right? We're talking something stupid simple, where at the end of the day, the extent of it is really just a PCB in a USB, right?
True.
And it has the tiniest amount of memory possible. And honestly, the plastic at that point around the USB probably would cost more than the memory inside of it. And I think that would be easier to stand up. And at a certain point, it probably ends up being a lot more feasible to allow for our games to be able to be like sold and resold and lent out and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, without hashing too much what we've already discussed in previous weeks, like the Nintendo cartridges are keys for Switch 2. So it's the same type of thing.
Yeah, it literally is.
But it is official. It's happening. Yay for all of us. I don't see a downside, but I'm sure if there is one, Microsoft may try to find it. So we'll see how it goes. Outside of that, the big thing this week was Gamescom opening night, which had a bunch of major announcements, and we'll quickly go through a few later, but there's a couple that I want to get into, with the main one being the return of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, which I did not really see coming. I mean, I think this was out there before Gamescom, but they really kind of brought out like, hey, here's the instruments, here's what it is type thing. Stage Tour is the name of the game, and it's from the people that started the original series. So you're going to see it on all the major consoles, including Switch, and it will be available for PC this December 10th. It's going to have 90 officially licensed songs with 180 authentic in-game guitars, so like different skins and stuff. You can build a lineup by mixing and matching over 50 unique bandmates. And the game introduces a roguelite tour mode where every run presents unique choices, challenges, and gig outcomes to create an endless single-player replayability. There is going to be a standalone digital standard edition at $40, but obviously you don't get the piece of kit. So if you want the base edition with the guitar, it's going to be $130, with the full band, guitar, drum set, microphone costing $300. So, I mean, I always lamented that those rhythm games went away. I always thought that they were fun ways for people to do something together that was a video game type of thing. And I mean, I had Rock Band, and it was fun to pull that up.
Yeah.
As an adult, I'm sad to say I won't be buying this.
Right.
But I love that it exists, and I hope somebody buys it.
Right. So I think a lot of the problem, it like with this type of game anymore, is streaming culture, right? We've leaned so heavily into streaming being a free advertisement system that this doesn't really work, right? Because you want to put in the big popular game or big popular songs and all of that so that people can, play the songs they actually like.
Oh, you know what would be awesome? A VR version of this.
You mean Beat Saber?
No, like I'm serious. Like
I know.
You're on stage, you
That could
can
be
look
cool.
around at the crowd, and obviously Beat Saber style, you can still have the notes and stuff coming to you, but looking around is like an actual stage, an actual crowd venue with the bandmates. That would be that I might actually be willing to pick up as an insane experience, which I'm not sure how difficult it would be to turn something like this into a VR experience. So
Yeah, honestly, probably not terribly difficult. The biggest thing is like the buttons and stuff, right? You would still need them to stream down in front of you, so they would either have to be partially transparent, which granted they were on the original Guitar Heroes. So and they did have like scenes.
Well, keep in mind they come at you at an
angle.
angle, right? Like it wasn't straight down top to bottom. It was like a 30-degree, 40-degree angle coming towards you. So you would still be able to see like everything around you.
Yeah,
and all that jazz. So
it would be quite interesting. I do think it would be easily transitioned.
Yeah, and that could be super cool. But if you have a bunch of friends or a roommate or a family, like I still think this would probably be an awesome thing to pick up that you could still do. So I love that it exists. I did find it interesting as a little bonus that for legacy fans of Guitar Hero Rock Band, the developers actually confirmed via Discord that the new Stage Tour drum set and CRKD guitars will actually work natively on classic Xbox 360 consoles.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I assume USB plug-in, you'll be able to plug it into the console, and it'll still, because a lot of those, over the years, it's been proven, well, not over the years, immediately a lot of those guitars were not good quality guitars.
Yeah.
And have died over time. So there's not really a secondhand market because most of them just don't work unless people are repairing them.
Right.
So if anyone wants to go back and play an old school Guitar Hero or Rock Band game, you could just pick this up to get the guitar and throw in those games in an old console. Yeah. Especially because physical media works, so you could just buy a disc version of the game and be able to play it.
True.
Which it would honestly be the only way you could do it, because there's no way these games last digitally because of music licenses forever. So
yeah. Yes.
But the disc version with everything on it can't be revoked. So well, at this time, that is.
Right. Well, that's kind of the thought process, right? Because it's launching on the PS5. And it's probably going to be a digital copied version. Like, there's probably going to be a digital version.
Keep in mind, PlayStation 5 is doing discs until the launch of the new console in 2028. So, stuff here will still have a disc, whether or not it's actually on the disc or something you have to download.
Right.
Who knows? but it does
Right.
exist. I love that it's coming back. That's just a little piece for me. Outside of that, some other big announcements. Witcher 3 remastered and Songs of the Past expansion, which is not brand new news. Did get some more details. It's a full visual remaster. It will be coming on September 29th of this year. It will come with the new expansion that I mentioned, that expansion will be coming in 2027. So big update. And if you want to know exactly what it's doing, because it's not just visuals in this DLC, there's a lot of revamp to, like, you know, how the horses work and all this kind of stuff for the game. You can go look up those details. The one thing that I do feel bad about this is every time every time Bethesda or any single player game developer updates an old game to this extent, what does it do, Heru?
It usually just it makes it incompatible to previous versions, and they also charge for it.
Yeah, and being incompatible with previous versions basically breaks all mods that have existed for years, if not decades in some cases. And the people who made those original mods may not even be around anymore to fix them to work with the new version.
Correct.
I wish that there was a way for a game that gets a major update like this so many years after its release to decline it. Like, I wish there was a way that you could choose which version to play, so that if you wanted to use old mods, you could play the version that was before this moment in time to be able to, you know, use all those mods. But that's just a little quality of life thing. It is still nice to see a developer supporting their game this far after its release, because what are we, 10 years? Wasn't it 2015 for Witcher 3?
Something like that.
How long ago was Witcher 3? It was a long time.
It was a long time. I find it really funny that we mentioned this because Steam does have a way of allowing you to not update a game or to play a previous version of a game.
Yeah.
Right? And RimWorld, you can go back and play the original beta on the official copy of RimWorld.
You have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that there are certain caveats to that are contingent on somewhat of what the developer allows.
Yes. It is purely on the developer.
Yeah, so...
But my point is that Steam has a function for it.
The function does exist. You're right. Yes. Sorry, that's not what I'm bemoaning. It's just not a blanket thing that's available to every game, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's entirely based on the developer and whether or not they have set up their account and their game to be able to do this.
So let's just hope your favorite game is made by your favorite developer.
Correct, yeah. And hopefully they are, you know, not just your favorite developer because of the games they created.
True. Well, I mean, yeah. So outside of that, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, which will be the final entry to the remake trilogy that was confirmed for spring of 2027. It features the massive returning weapons as endgame bosses, chocobo traversal, and the nostalgic fit system that grants characters classic Final Fantasy job outfits and abilities. So that's coming your way if you're a Final Fantasy setting or fan. No Law, which I'm very interested in, releasing in 2027, is a first-person story-rich open-world cyber noir shooter, aka a different Cyberpunk. If Cyberpunk wasn't your bag, but you loved the idea of a Cyberpunk game, that's basically what this is a Cyberpunk game by somebody else. So if that's your bag, then here you go. It's supposedly emphasizing player freedom without strict rules, and you can talk your way throughout a corrupt cyberpunk city if you so choose. So, cool. It's there if you want it. Outside of that, Beautiful Light was another thing that I found very interesting that I will be keeping an eye on, which is a highly atmospheric PvE horror extraction shooter tracking towards a December 2026 release date where squads of operators must secure an artifact against a rival team and terrifying anomalies. So it's basically as we said, PvE shooter, horror extraction shooter with some decent horror elements. I'm a huge fan of Fear. I loved the Fear series. Well, at least Fear 1 and 2. 3 was not as good. But I loved Fear 1 and 2. So if you could give me something that channels that shooter and horror type feel, I'm on board. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. Outside of that, they showed off more Gears of War E-Day, which we kind of already talked about. Exodus, which I have on my radar. I'm 100% looking forward to this. Is a cinematic Mass Effect style RPG with the new awakened octopus mercenary companion named Salt. So Exodus is the name. I've seen so many trailers for this. I want it. And PUBG Dead.net, which is a new FPS from the PUBG developers, set in a fictional 1996 Pacific Northwest, introducing character-driven combat and roguelite progression across multi-match runs, which is an interesting twist on a formula that they're very good at. I will say the character style and the art style, not so much my bag. It definitely looks like someone's romanticized version of 1996, so it comes across as a grunge barista theme. It's kind of what it reminded me of. But hey, if that's your style, here's the game for you.
I want to talk a bit about Beautiful Light.
Okay.
Because that kind of a game lives and dies by its player base.
True.
If it does not have a player base that can support, that number of players in a match, which it looks like, based on here, it says 6 squads of 3 operators. That's 18 players in a game. It needs to be relatively popular for that to work.
At least popular enough for the online community to be healthy. Yes. It doesn't have to be a gangbusters runaway 500,000 weekly users. As long as it's quick enough to find a match, everyone in that match has a relatively similar level of ping. That's all you really need, and for that to run for an extended period of time, not just the first week.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of the critical thing, because otherwise a lot of these games, they end up having to pivot and introduce broken AI allies, and it's not fun.
Yep. I saw a thing the other day that people are concerned, as it looks like the bot matches have gone up in Fortnite. So previously you could have like 25% was the maximum, and now it's apparently getting up to like 37%. So
oh wow,
that was a rumor though. That was a rumor, but yeah, bots are, well, at least for the moment, until they're fully AI powered, are not as smart as humans. So we'll see in the future if that's different.
Yeah.
And Heru, stop me anytime you want to talk about something outside of that. They showed off Metro 2039, which is a sequel to the Metro series. I love the Metro series. This is going to be February of 2027. Rainbow Six Tactics, which is a brand new single player turn-based strategy strategy game set in the Rainbow Six universe. Turok Origins, which is a new title in the Turok series, so sci-fi shooter with dinosaurs, spring of 2027. The Defiant, a visually stunning tactical shooter built on Unreal Engine 5, focusing on the Asian theater of World War II, which we don't necessarily see as often, so at least it's something a little different. Dust Origins, a new sci-fi isometric action game dripping with cyberpunk style from the Darkside developers, Airship Syndicate. 101 Threads of Mizan, an Arabian fantasy action adventure featuring flying hoverboards and dropping co-op boss fights. Tides of Annihilation, a single-player action adventure where you use King Arthur's mystical powers and spectral knights to save a ruined London. Love the setting. Silver Palace, an open-world detective RPG that showcased new multiplayer functionality and fresh story elements. From there, you do have some new RPGs and MMOs, specifically the 1.0 release of Path of Exile 2, which I know Heru loves.
Path of Exile 2, it's a game, that's for sure. It's a game that can consume my entire being for a solid, like, 6 months at a time. There are issues with Path of Exile 2, right? I would absolutely be able to get into them, but we don't need to. At the end of the day, I'm very excited for their 1.0 release. It is in, like, what is that? 16 weeks, ultimately. Actually, probably less than that, more like 14, 15. I don't know. I didn't count. I'm just throwing numbers out there at this point. It's, and like, that's going to be like peak end boss clear time, which is kind of frustrating. But at the exact same time, I am excited for it. The last time that they announced a season and released a season, the economy was absolutely terrible. And unfortunately, in my opinion, a lot of Path of Exile and a lot of ARPGs in general they do this thing where they build upon system upon system upon system upon system until it just kind of gets overwhelming, and they never take out a system. So as someone like myself who, min-maxes and, gets as much power as possible in the most efficient ways possible, that kind of tends to be very overwhelming. And eventually you just get so frustrated that you just quit, right?
Yeah.
And Blizzard had a very similar problem with this when it came to WoW. So I just hope that they tune those systems in a way that will not cause people to hate them all because they simply exist.
That's fair. I hope that's true for you too.
Yeah, me too.
But you know what? You'll know December 11th. So, outside of that, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Remake, Afterworld, a post-apocalyptic grand strategy game from Paradox, aka the developer that makes all the strategy games ever to have ever existed. I'm joking, obviously. Game of Thrones, War for Westeros, a real-time strategy game launching in early 2027, featuring faces like Jon Snow. Crimson Desert getting a massive 2.0 update, dropping for an update dropping for that open world RPG that we have discussed in previous courses. And Warlock Dungeons and Dragons, a third-person magic action adventure starring Resident Evil's Maggie Robertson, coming in 2027, which definitely seems like something up Heru's alley.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both love Dungeons and Dragons in general. The world is amazing, and how fleshed out their classes is amazing. And for them to actually come out with something like this, it's unique. And that uniqueness alone, I think, is interesting.
I mean, that's fair. I can understand that. If it's cool, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
So they're putting the money where their mouth is by getting some good VAs in there. So
that's true. Yeah.
Outside of that, and to be clear here, I'm not actually saying everything that was announced, just kind of going through some quick stuff. So if there's anything on here that you were interested in or saw a trailer for and I didn't talk about it, feel free to comment about it and let us know we didn't say your favorite thing that you saw, as I just watched a bunch of the trailers. I didn't necessarily watch the full Gamescom thing. So put it out there. Outside of that, finishing up here, we got Lego Skylines, because if there's anything that's consistent in the universe, it's death, taxes, and Lego games. Crazy Taxi World Tour, a 2027 revival of the classic arcade game, which, depending on the price, I could see being a fun little throwback. Notice Fall, a surprise new action IP from the... Oh, God, I always mispronounce this. Heru, give it to me.
It's the Hoyoverse.
Hoyoverse, thank you. Blending, I always read it and I never hear it, and so I always mispronounce it. Blending elements of Elden Ring and Monster Hunter, which seems like something you would be interested in.
I didn't even know this was coming.
Hey, there you go. Now you do. You can go look it up, see what it's about, put it on your radar. Silent Hill Townfall, a psychological horror spin-off that revealed an English voice cast, including Lost Terry O'Quinn. Ontos, a new highly unsettling horror game from the Amnesia developer Frictional Games that heavily features rats, which is usually in a lot of horror things, apocalyptic places, unsettling stuff, so makes sense. There are no ghosts at the Grand, a quirky musical mystery game where you restore a crumbling English hotel by day and fight ghosts by night with a sardonic cat.
So that kind of gives me Luigi's Mansion vibes.
It does.
A little bit.
I hope at some point somebody says Mario. Anyways.
Oh man.
Anyways, Grab Hounds, a chaotic physics-driven co-op action game where you play as humanoid dogs defending outposts, releasing in early access on November 2nd of this year. Mugenics was shown off again, which we've already talked about as a very successful title on Steam, so it's coming out on consoles. Terrare, the Unbound, an Eastern-inspired dark fantasy game focused on intense high-pressure boss encounters, so anybody out there that loves those tough boss battles, this is probably a game for you. Snoop Dogg is part of DLC for Hitman, which is not something I would put on my bingo card, but it's there. A bizarre new mission where Agent 47 must assassinate an eccentric entrepreneur played by Snoop Dogg before his dangerous cookie product launches.
What?
I hope there's got to be, dude. Like the cookies have to be just weed references, right? Like the whole, all the way through, like, right? I mean, it just can't. There better be all kinds of good puns. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Roko Kingdom, a globally releasing open world creature collector franchise heavily popular in China. So apparently we're getting Chinese Pokemon. And Mega Man Dual Override that comes or has a crossover with Pragmata in the form of a cosmetic skin. So that's not everything, like I said, but that's most of the things that were shown off, announced, or more details given for. So if anything fits your fancy, let us know. Moving on to gaming history. Time to fill that brain hole with some history. We're starting with Dishonored, as we have 3 different segments here, all related to Arcane. Before Dishonored became the critically acclaimed success that we all know it to be today, Arcane Studios was actually on the verge of bankruptcy. The studio spent years taking on grueling and fruitless contract work just to keep the lights on, which included pitching to Ubisoft, building a zombie shooter, and working on EA's Boom Blocks. During the chaotic period, Arcane was actively working on and subsequently canceled episode of Half-Life 2, which I did not know in any way or form, which I find interesting because I would love to have details on that episode. Does Valve have like a kill order NDA where if anybody who knows about it like talks about it at all, their head just explodes?
Probably.
That's at one point, the studio was burning through capital and only had about 4 months left of funding. And instead of continuing to take third-party contracts to survive, the team made a ride-or-die decision to build the specific type of game they were passionate about, willing to go under if it failed. It obviously was successful because the result was Dishonored. So, what do we constantly say, Heru?
Passion wins?
Yes, let talented people make the games that they want, assuming that they are games that aren't tailored to a very extremely niche crowd. Okay, because I have to specify that, right? If you make some crazy avant-garde thing where 5 people buy it, it's not going to be successful. But for years, I mean, the Thief games, once upon a time, were a very popular franchise. Stealth games always have a place. And essentially, this was a stealth game with magical abilities, which, why the F not? Like, I mean, it's obviously hindsight is 2020, but seems like a match made in heaven. And they buckled down and stopped, they stopped sweating and bleeding for others and said, I want to make a game that we find fun, and it seems like a successful thing that we want to share with people, so we're going to buckle down and make it. And lo and behold, it was good. I think that's the thing that constantly gets lost in the gaming industry, is you have to let, to a degree, you have to let passionate people do the thing that they're passionate about.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I mean, it's sad because they're not all going to work out, right?
No.
And knowing when it's clearly not going to work is important. But, at the exact same time, if you don't try, you'll never succeed.
Mm-hmm. And again, there's a balance between making some very niche passion project versus making something that is more widely acceptable. There's plenty of games we can point to in recent history, which I have no doubt passionate people worked on them, but the crowd they were targeting was not something that would have ever made them successful.
Yeah.
So back and forth. But like I said, a stealth style Thief game with magic, yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Outside of that, I gained a huge amount of respect for the people that worked, a handful of the people that worked at Arcane Austin, which, if you don't know, is the studio that did Redfall, the infamous Redfall. We just talked about making games and having appeal to a wide audience. Arcane Austin was shut down in May of 2024 following the negative reception to the live service shooter, the live service vampire shooter Redfall, which I will say, initially when it was shown off at their trailers and stuff, looked like it could have been an interesting concept. It feels like a vampire shooter is something that would be successful. I think it ended up being way too workshopped and tried to appeal to too wide of an audience and went through too many iterations and was forced out way too early because it launched with so many bugs and problems. Anyways, Smith admitted that the studio got swept up in the industry's game-as-service trend. He assumed they could successfully merge those mechanics with what Arcane typically loved to do, a challenge compounded by the onset of the pandemic. And despite being officially fired, Smith and a small team successfully pleaded with Microsoft to let them release a massive final update for Redfall. That was the final update that was ever released, and it fixed a huge amount of problems, and everybody that reviewed it, took a look at it, tried the game after it, was like, yes, it's in a playable state now. This is a functioning game. It's better. It's not necessarily go home and write your parents about, but the people who bought the game at least got a working game after this patch. Microsoft actually required 6 or 7 of the developers to sign special legal forms just so they could temporarily re-enter the building to push the update. And Smith noted that while the patch 1.4 wouldn't have made the game a massive hit on day one, it did address thousands of bugs and made the game a significantly better experience. Now, it's not clear about whether or not they were paid for this time, but either way, a massive amount of respect to these handful of people that were like, no, we don't want to leave it in this state. This is not representative of the work we do, and we have almost finished and put this out. Please let us finish and put this out. And the thing that actually kind of makes me sad is Microsoft got a lot of credit for this. So kind of a bummer.
Not them.
No. It was the developers that pleaded with them to let them finish it. Because at the time, I remember the discussion like, oh, even though Microsoft's shutting it down, at least they put in the effort to fix the game. Well, if it was up to Microsoft, it would have stayed in that broken state despite the effort being put into it by the developers. Again, this doesn't excuse the game as a whole. It was not a great game. It took a unique concept and made it very bland. outside of that, though, I can respect people wanting to put their best foot forward. So huge amount of respect from me to these handful of people that went in and said, no, let us finish this, please. So good on them. However, famously shut down. However, not the end of the road, as Black Pony rises from the ashes. Veteran developers Harvey Smith, who we just talked about being an awesome I'm going to finish it no matter what dude. He also worked on both Deus Ex and Dishonored, and Ben Horn announced a new Austin-based game studio named Black Pony Immersive. The studio's sole focus will be on developing imaginative single-player first-person action RPGs and immersive sims that prioritize player choice and emergent systems. The team includes top-tier industry talent with backgrounds at Insomniac, Epic Games, Avalanche, and Volition, and features Ricardo Bear, Smith's longtime creative partner. Smith noted that his favorite gaming memories stem from players approaching challenges creatively, so Black Pony aims to explicitly reward players for their curiosity and exploration rather than chasing live service trends. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
No, the industry does not need another studio making live service games. It absolutely does not.
Yep.
So
big agree.
Oh man. So and from developers that do know how to make good single player games with talent from some very prominent development studios. I look forward to whatever their first game is, which won't be for a very long time, but I still look forward to it whenever it actually is shown off and eventually releases. So, best of luck to Black Pony Immersive. We look forward to your successful return to the gaming landscape. Moving on to Free Period. So, speaking of veteran developers with a good pedigree, there's been a lot of discussion around hire the old devs, and we'll get into that debate specifically in a moment. But I did want to start with an interesting trend or an interesting conversation and back and forth that I saw on social media. So on August 17th, former Bungie developer Neil Sinkley, who led the single-player campaign design on Halo Reach. So he's a person that worked on a good Halo game. I don't think I've ever met anybody that says Halo Reach was a bad Halo game. So, good game. Posted a thread addressing the unrealistic fan sentiment of bringing back the original Halo developers. He explained that developers' tastes and priorities naturally change over time, and the original Bungie team had a significant internal friction, describing it as a high-drama family. He highlighted that fans primarily crave nostalgia, whereas the original developers are forward-thinking innovators, which would create a frustrating monkey paw scenario if they ever actually attempted to return. What's interesting about this post is Jamie Griesmer, is that how I'm going to pronounce that? A lead designer of multiple Halo titles, including the original Combat Evolved, replied and strongly agreed with this assessment. He pointed out that, or she, I don't actually know, pointed out that the foundational elements of the Halo era Bungie, such as vast creative freedom and distinct lack of corporate interference, no longer exist at a modern Microsoft. Oh, he, right here, concluded that even if the original development team were miraculously reassembled today, their creative process would immediately be crushed to death by the leviathan of corporate oversight. Yep. What's good about this is that a user by the name of Nikki G replied directly to them, arguing that Microsoft was heavily involved in Halo's creation and condescendingly told the veteran designer to look up the development of Combat Evolved. And Heru, you'll see the screenshots down here. Sorry. So, told them to look up the development team, and after they were community noted, someone actually replied with a photo of the credits of the game with their name highlighted, pointing out you're arguing with one of the original developers. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, man.
At one point, Jamie even replied with, "You should look up the development team."
Yeah. Specifically the names of the devs.
So I just got a good chuckle out of this because, oh man, could you imagine arguing with somebody online about the thing that they worked on?
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but would you tell them to their face, "You should look up the development team"?
no, probably not. Like, at least click on the person, right? There's no way they don't have that, like, somewhere in their history on X showing that, what games they worked on and so on and so forth. They probably even have their LinkedIn tied to this X account.
You're not wrong. I did look at it. I don't think it's specifically there, but if you look at the account enough, okay, this person is a developer, like they know what they're talking about. But again, all you have to do is Google the name. It's not like they're hiding it.
Right, right.
But I did want to go back to specifically the hire the old devs argument. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have to agree. It's never going to be the same. It's just not.
Yep.
So as much as we complain about how Call of Duties are made today, how Battlefields are made today, how any sort of expansion to an existing MMO is made, or any of this, yada, 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 at the end of the day, people have moved on with their lives. They've changed a bit, and it's just not going to be... Because here's the thing, you're not going to fire everybody and only hire these original people either, right? Because that's the only way you would even come close to capturing that original magic. If it was solely the original team running on pure nostalgia, trying to recapture that magic. And even then, people change. So it does make me sad to say, being the guy that does chase a lot of that nostalgia, it's just, you're not going to get it back. And the argument of, or the desire to have old development studios back as they were, it's just not it's a non-starter. It's not going to ever happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason that World of Warcraft Classic actually succeeded, right? Because, like, they had the original copy of the game. They modernized it a tiny little bit. They put it on the modern engine and sent it, right? Still has all the same boss mechanics, still has all the same extremely boring rotations, and the game is pretty close to exactly as it was back then, which was really funny after playing, modern WoW, because then you go back and you're like, holy shit, I thought this was hard back then. And to go back to the whole Jamie thing and suggesting to just click on his damn name, I did exactly this just because I was curious whether or not I could prove myself right. You click on his name, the first thing I see is a link to rewardingplay.com, which is a site that he specifically owns. And then at the top, there is a resume button in which you can click it, and it shows you he worked for Bungie Studios from 1997 to 2010.
Yeah, but that's like 3 clicks deep, bro.
My point is that I found this information in less than a minute.
While talking.
Yes, exactly. While running a podcast.
Yep. I just found the whole thing interesting. Now, to be fair, to give this guy credit, I did look in the comments, and he took all the deserved lumps, responding to people, yep, I screwed up. So, to this guy's credit, if you go look it up, he did fully own it. So he didn't, throw a fit like a petulant child. So give the man credit for his faux pas, accepting his faux pas. But I love it because it does feel like that's the internet today. You don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I am the expert. So
like quite literally.
Oh man, but yeah. So it is painful for me to say, but instead of saying hire the old devs back, talk about the things that you liked in the original works. and try to have a constructive criticism about how you could bring the feeling of those things back functionally to a modern version. I think that's going to be more productive in a conversation.
You know, honestly, like, we could touch on that just for a brief second, because, like, the original Halo games, I didn't play Halo 1, but I played 2 and Reach, namely 2 and Reach. And I'm kind of thinking about it, like, what would I even want back? And the problem is that I think what I would want is not the thing that most other people would want, which is the co-op campaign.
No, I think a lot of people want the co-op campaign. They ask about it every time, and they botch it every time. Mm-hmm. Like, Infinite didn't launch with co-op. That was the one thing, because they announced co-op for Halo Infinite, and like an open world Halo game with co-op, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure if it'll work, but I'm on board because I have a bunch of Halo friends. I'll jump in with co-op with them. We'll drive around in a frickin' Warthog on an open world map. Why the hell not? And it didn't launch with co-op.
Yep. Now, I also think that you're probably never going to recapture those same feelings that you've once had when it comes to co-op, because back then it was couch co-op, right? So I have very fond memories of literally playing through on the very hardest difficulty on couch co-op with my partner back in high school. And that took us a hell of a long time, because we had to play around, you know, whether or not like she could actually perform the actions in question.
Sure.
And whether or not it was just something where I needed her to just do something else while I dealt with it. Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I just don't think you'll ever really recapture that feeling because of the couch co-op aspect. You could maybe set up a couch co-op thing, but I think it'd be very difficult.
I think you could do streaming, right? I think you could just do the thing that you and I are doing now.
Right.
Which is just throw a co-op, throw up a webcam setup, and, you know, we could talk to each other, and, you know, I could look over when we do something awesome and be like, oh, you know, like, that was such a cool thing. And I do think you could capture the magic, recapture that magic to a bit. Will it ever be the same?
To a part, yeah.
No, because Halo's been around for forever, so it's never going to be the same as something new to the market that you're looking forward to. But they could recapture the feeling, and I think there's a few ways that you could do it. So I'm going to harken back to a movie franchise, okay?
Okay.
Top Gun was a very successful movie franchise. And it remained successful when they released a recent version because it knew what it was, and it stayed true to what it was, which was an awesome action movie. It didn't do anything complicated. If you try to analyze the story, it's dumb.
Yep.
But what it was cool, fun, and awesome action. And what was Halo? Here's the things that Halo was all about to me. It was open world sections where I could figure out how to approach the map and try to like get out of bounds, try to get a vehicle into a place I'm not supposed to. So many sandbox sections of how do I want to approach this? I can do it however I want.
Yep.
With in between really cool tailored set pieces. And the thing to me about Master Chief, which is what makes the Halo franchise, Halo Reach was cool and it was a good offsuit, but the thing that was always good about the Halo franchise was Cortana and Master Chief. And the thing about Master Chief is he was always the badass. He was the stalwart. Everybody respected him. Everywhere you went, all the Marines were like, yeah, it's Master Chief. He's here. Go kick their butt. Not this stupid campaign evolved crap where there's a character chastising the Master Chief the entire time. Look, Bish, I'm not here to please you. I'm here to kick butt. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need all of this depth that they're trying to put into it. Just let me be a badass character, have the universe reflect that I'm a badass character, and that everybody knows it. That's all. That's all I care about.
Yep. You're 100% correct. I mean, he absolutely was the kind of character that just showed up and was like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, but I'm all out of bubblegum. right? That was his whole freaking character, and it was perfect. It worked just fine. There were no issues with it whatsoever. And then they tried to add in, just too much extra crap. And it's just unnecessary. Let a game be what that game is, rather than trying to add in more things to attract different types of players. People are being born every day. People are getting into gaming every single day.
Yep.
And the types of games that they want to play will vary. So more people will come into a niche that you have created if that niche is already relatively popular.
Yeah. I mean, and the Top Gun revival shows.
Yeah.
You do not have to have an Oscar-winning movie with amazing depth and storylines. Sometimes people just want the cool thing. Just make me the cool thing.
Yeah. Now, the question, though, Plague, is Top Gun a Christmas movie?
Top Gun? Do you mean Die Hard?
Both. I've heard people say the Top Gun one too. They've always asked me that question, and I'm like, dude, I've never even seen it, and I never will.
I don't think there's enough Christmas references.
No? Okay, fair enough.
In Top Gun for it to be a Christmas movie. I think Die Hard, the first one, you have a better case. I still think it's fringe, but I think you have a better case. Because the whole start of the movie is the Christmas thing and yada, 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 and it's the Christmas office party. And so
I've never seen it either, so...
You've never seen the first Die Hard?
Nope, and I never will.
You're such a Gruber. Anyways, I'm just kidding. But yes, so just give us something cool. And we're not the only ones hypothesizing about what a Halo that's, good and would bring people back could be. Because on August 20th, Halo co-creator Marcus Leto stated that if he were to create a new Halo game today, it would feature a darker, more grounded military tone. He envisions player versus player as the brains and player versus environment as the heart and soul. He acknowledged this direction would not be everybody's Halo and bets many fans may not like it. He expanded online that he would bench the current lore, respecting it, but building a fresh narrative future for both veteran and new players. He argued that Halo must be built by a dedicated local team, explicitly criticizing global outsourcing to groups with zero investment in the franchise, and tempered expectations by noting his ideas are purely fanciful, doubting Xbox CEO Asha Sharma gives a shoot.
I mean, yeah, she likely doesn't. That's kind of the reality.
Well, unless you can promise money, I'm sure she gives a crap if it
Yeah, but that's the thing, he can't. Which is exactly what he said, right? Many fans might not like it.
Here's the thing. ODST, while not the commercial success that Halo ever was, it was profitable, just not to the same degree.
Right.
Is a beloved entry in the Halo franchise. And that is a darker, grittier game. If you wanted to give this game a soft reboot, I do think there is precedent for what he's talking about here. I don't know if you do a new version of Super Soldiers, like Earth, because supposedly the Spartans are dying out, right? That's the whole thing, is these are new Spartans and the new generations of Spartans. They're not the same as the old ones, the new generation. So I don't know if you, again, evolve it into some new different Super Soldier, or if you go at the focus of the ODSTs, that type of thing. I could see it. Right. Again, I just want cool and fun. I could see this being a thing. I would miss the Master Chief.
Sure.
He's kind of the heart and soul of the franchise, but at least from a starting point, because maybe you pivot the story back at a later date, a later entry. But I could see this being an interesting way to take the Halo franchise. I mean, it's not working currently,
right,
where it's going.
Clearly,
there's just no connection. It's very disjointed. I don't even remember the story of Infinite, and I played it through twice by myself and on co-op when it eventually came out. I don't even remember the story of that. So it definitely hasn't stuck with me in any way or form.
Oh
man.
Yeah,
So
I really don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, at a certain point, your lore has become too long. Your story has become too
convoluted.
unmanageable,
Yep.
and you can't keep track of it. World of Warcraft had the same problem, right? It's been going on for 20 plus years. They've kind of retold the same stories over and over again. And just recently, they did this whole revamp where they're like, hey, we're going to kind of bench the old storyline. We're going to kind of push everything in a different direction and make all those characters kind of follow a brand new story arc, right?
We're gonna take Bikini Bottom and push it over here.
Perfect. Yes, exactly. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it's worked. I mean, it's held me for
Fair.
a full expansion and a half now, which is surprising. Because I've never been able to last longer than a single expansion. Even back in the Wrath of the Lich King days, I literally just I raided during Wrath of the Lich King, and then Cataclysm, I was like, peace.
Oh man, you only have the stamina for one expansion? It's weak, dude.
Well, you know, happens.
I mean, fair. It's true though. Like at some point, it just becomes too unwieldy, too much of a monster. There's too many storylines, too many threads. You gotta, just like any successful gardener will tell you, you gotta trim back. You gotta make it nice, clean, and cut, or your overgrowth kills your garden. So,
Yeah, and you can't keep every character alive either.
True.
Right? Characters need to die. Things need to move on. Things need to progress.
I mean, Sergeant Johnson was one of my favorite characters in the Halo universe, and you know he has been around for a while. It happens. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm with you. Outside of that, they also talked about Niles Sankley, the one that we mentioned earlier. Talked about who was the former Halo Reach designer, revealed that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, that's the 2007 game, not the new ones, and the sequel in 2009, Modern Warfare 2, were huge inspirations for the Halo Reach campaign. Halo and Call of Duty were obviously fierce competitors at that time period, and it turns out that Bungie actively pulled from Infinity Ward's tonal execution despite feeling Halo excelled in other areas like AI. Noble Team's squad interactions were heavily influenced by Infinity Ward's dynamic character work. Halo Reach's famous Objective Survive ending, which if you don't know, the story ends, spoilers alert for a very old game. The story ends and you're stranded on the planet because you helped get everybody else off, but at the sacrifice of you staying behind. And so that last piece where you're controlling the character is just endless waves of enemies at you that you're just not it's not intended for you to win. It's not possible for you to win as far as I know. And so eventually you get overrun and killed. And that was inspired by the very iconic nuke sequence in the first Modern Warfare, which was new at the time and blew everybody away because it just had not been done, where a main character, especially in a shooter franchise, was just killed off mid campaign, and you are actually controlling him all the way through this moment in which he dies, where he's crawling around the ground. So Bungie was aiming to copy a bit of that emotional impact, which I actually never connected the two until I read this, and I was like, I can see it. I can see where they were inspired and pulled from that. So, interesting little tidbit, right? Because it was always, what's the Halo killer? What's the Call of Duty killer? And the answer is they shared. So,
well, I mean, the real answer is that they both did it themselves. So,
you're not wrong. Self-imploded.
Yep.
Oh, man. Little bit of fun facts just to end this segment. During Call of Duty 4's development, Infinity Ward secretly prototyped a sci-fi alien shooter explicitly targeted as dethroning Halo. A lot of those concepts were later used for 2016's, I'm going to say, infamous Infinite Warfare. Leto's comments are particularly relevant now, as the recent Halo Campaign Evolved remake faced a lot of mixed reactions. So that's where we're at.
I mean, that's what happens when you don't have passionate developers. And I wish companies would really
invested developers too.
That's
passionate
true. Yeah.
and invested in the well-being of the franchise.
Yes, that is very true. And at the exact same time, like, these companies really need to stop with this whole I'm designing this game to specifically dethrone or kill something else, right? Because if you're doing that, you're already fighting a losing battle.
I mean, that's what Killzone, every entry of Killzone was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the Halo and Call of Duty killer.
It's basically killed every single MMO that has been created since World of Warcraft.
Yep. I think, yeah, you could, if you set out to design a game to take audience away from another game, you're most likely never going to be victorious.
Correct.
And you look at, I mean, I'm going to talk more about this because the game comes out in early access September 10th. But I just played War Dogs with a bunch of buddies. Absolutely fantastic time. Very successful closed beta. It's most likely going to be a successful game. And not once have I heard the developers talk about how they're trying to compete with Call of Duty, Squad, Battlefield, or anything like this. They talk about the things they love from those games.
Right.
And the some of the aspects that they tried to bring in from those games that they love. But they have never once talked about how they're trying to take over that section of the market. No, make a good game. Pick out things that you like. Sure, say, we love the thing in Call of Duty or, X game. We love the thing in X game. We're going to try to do better than what they do. That's fine. You can't say that you're going to try to improve. Just if you go about it approaching it where you're trying to actually physically beat some game into the ground, you're not focusing on the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at the end of the day, people will leave franchises and leave just games in general 9 times out of 10 due to decisions made by the developers in the first place. They're not really going to leave for a different game.
No, not unless it's some industry groundbreaking thing.
Right, exactly. Like World of Warcraft was, to be fair.
Well, yeah, quite a few examples out there, but yes.
Yes.
I think that's all we have for the Halo talk this week. There was just, and it just made me laugh because all of these things were separate discussions that I saw online. This was not one article. They just all happened to happen within the same week. So I did find it
hilarious.
Funny. Anyways, moving on to civics and sociology. All right, following up the leaks that we talked about last week from CyberLeak themselves, which if you want to know more about what's already been discussed, you can go back and check out that, last week's discussion about it. Long story short, somehow has access to probably a build of GTA, putting out videos, polls of what to release, an edict demanding better consumer rights, and an end to digital only, that type of thing. The one thing that we criticized last week is potentially they were doing this for profit. However, they did, the leaker themselves this week, in an attempt to prove they're not motivated by profit, publicly burned 270 million of their own associated crypto tokens, which means they basically lit $1 million on fire.
That's wild.
So, now to be fair, I'm sure they've made over that amount of money. So is it a token gesture to be like, hey, I'm not doing it for the money. I burned 3% of the money I made. Or is it legit? I don't know. I'm putting it out there. Y'all decide. Outside of that, they did leak some more versions of the map with the different sections that are there, which I think we mentioned some of them last week. Apparently, the wanted system has been expanded to 6 stars, raising the ceiling from the 5-star limit. There apparently is a focus stat tied to in-game minigames, similar to mechanics found in Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as a karma system that tracks and judges finishing blows during street brawls. Clips also showed vehicles equipped with functional fuel and engine gauges, alongside stamina meters that deplete during physical fights. with the inclusion of fuel tracking and stamina management, you're getting some survival mechanics that have kind of been put in here. Do I have to keep track of gas and actually stop at a gas station? If I start a chase with a quarter tank of gas, can I actually run out of gas during a chase?
I don't see a problem with that personally.
It depends if it interferes with the fun of the game. Like, how quickly am I losing gas, you know?
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I mean, at the end of the day, the question comes down to, why are you playing it, right? Are you playing it solely for the feeling, or are you playing it because you enjoy the realism, right? A lot of people who play games like this, they don't enjoy the realism. But at the exact same time, the RP scene of GTA 5 exploded. So...
Oh, 100%. But, I mean, so here's my gripe, right? I mentioned a quarter tank of gas, okay?
Yeah.
My car in real life, a quarter tank of gas is potentially like 65, 75-ish miles.
Okay. I wish,
right?
but okay.
I mean, I have a smaller car than you do with a smaller liter engine.
Yes, I have a significantly bigger engine, I know.
So, yes. Yeah, well, I've got the stamina. Anyway, so...
Okay, buddy.
Point being, you know, even on the lower end, if I'm driving like a crazy man, let's say I get only 50 miles, okay?
Sure.
That's plenty enough for a decently long car chase in real life, right? Like, if I'm gunning it down the highway with police, I can make it a very long distance.
Yeah.
So if a quarter tank of gas in GTA lasts me for a 2-minute car chase, I'm going to be upset.
That's fair.
Like that in no way would I be like, that's realistic. I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Now, so obviously it can't last the same time, right? You're not going to have hour-long car chases in GTA unless you're trying to have an hour-long car chase.
Yeah.
So you have to have a balance there. So I can understand if I'm super low running out of gas during a car chase, but I better be able on a quarter tank to survive most car chases without having to refuel.
Yeah.
Unless I'm starting a long mission or whatever, but...
Oh, yeah. Like, I definitely agree. It needs to be forgiving enough while also at least adding to the game, right? It needs to not detract from the game, which I think is kind of the point.
And and there's been a lot of other things talked about with Lucia, because potentially they have access to the epilogue story of Lucia, which I personally didn't go look at those, because if it's true, I didn't want to actually know what happened.
Right.
But I did see other things where potentially eating actually affects your body stat. So you can't select if you're overweight or thin. You have to eat and exercise. So if you don't overeat in game and exercise, you'll be, skinnier. And if you overeat and don't exercise as much, your character puts on a lot of weight, which is an interesting RP way to do it, depending on how much and how often I have to eat.
Mm.
So rather than just having a slider, you basically pick yourself by your in-game actions.
Yeah.
Does it fluctuate too? Like if you're like, I'm just gonna eat a lot this week, so my character's overweight, and then by the next mission I'm gonna be super skinny, so I go from being overweight to skinny, overweight to skinny, overweight to skinny in between each mission.
Oh man, that'd be ridiculous.
I don't know, but it does seem like there's a lot of specially very specific mechanics built into the game, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
The big thing outside of the leaks that are available out there that happened this week is Take-Two finally taking action and filing a bunch of DMCA subpoenas in New York federal courts targeting Microsoft, Discord, Google, aka YouTube, and X on August 20th in an attempt to find CyberLeak. The Discord subpoena is particularly egregious as it's very broad, demanding information on any user who communicated in 3 specific servers, including one run by an Australian content creator since June 1st. So potentially hundreds of thousands of accounts would be swept up in the subpoena. On top of that, Take-Two is demanding extensive personal data, including account IDs, registration IP addresses linked to Xbox and Google connections, and specific Windows device identifiers as well. So, lots of information they're attempting to scrape together.
Yeah, that's going to be a no from me, Chief.
It's too broad.
It's way too broad.
If you've got a couple specific accounts that you want information on, and maybe the top 5 accounts that they talk to the most,
sure,
then like potentially, but like an entire server from a content creator,
not a chance.
What is happening here?
Yeah, just not. No. Look, I think personally, and I don't know where he's all talked. Who knows? I don't care. But at the end of the day, I think personally, Discord probably would have been sufficient. Or not Discord, sorry, X would have been sufficient. They have a direct X account that they have been communicating from, right?
To be fair, the rumor is that that's an imposter.
Okay, sure.
So,
but if that's an imposter, all of a sudden
on their own webpage that like the only official socials they have is like Telegram and some other thing.
Okay, sure. But at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. You got to be sure. You don't know.
Why isn't Telegram in here?
True. Well, because isn't Telegram like a Russian thing? So they ain't getting subpoenas for that.
I don't freaking know, man.
Pretty sure that's an overseas thing.
Things.
But, A, they could be lying. So you're still going to want to just confirm that. And B, subpoenaing an entire Discord server is like saying, we know the killer lives in this neighborhood. Judge, give us warrants for every house in the neighborhood. Every house. We have to go to every house in the neighborhood and search to find this killer. Because we know they're in the neighborhood. We just don't know which house.
I think you have to honestly go a little bit broader, right? Because Discord is gigantic. So at the end of the day, it's more like,
everyone in the county.
Yeah, we know he lives in the state of California. Give us information on every individual within California.
Okay, we went from 7 houses to 40 million. I think there's an in-between besides there.
There's no in-between. I'm sorry. There's really not.
I'm not sure an entire Discord server equals the 40 million people that live in California.
You're right, but it probably equals the amount of people who live in, like, Georgia.
What, dude? Wyoming.
That's fair. Wyoming does exist.
100,000 people in Wyoming. It's the entire state of Wyoming. Oh man. Anyways, it has definitely been an interesting week. Discord's communications chief confirmed on August 25th that the company has not yet been officially served with the subpoena and would evaluate its scope before releasing any user data. However, if the court orders it, unless they choose to fight it in court, which costs Discord money, and I'm not sure they care enough, so
I wanna go down that rabbit hole for a quick second.
Okay.
So let's say that the courts do order it, and Discord provides this information, and then Take-Two gets hacked, and all of that information is taken. Who's responsible?
Oh, gosh. That seems like lawyers would have to figure that one out.
Yeah, that's fair. Personally, in my opinion, I think it's a 50-50 on the court and Take-Two.
Actually, you know who decides? The group with the highest paid lawyers.
You're not technically wrong.
That's going to be my guess.
Well, but I mean, I guess for me, it's more on the moral aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Because,
well, I mean, you're responsible for any sensitive information within your possession, regardless of if it's yours or somebody else's. If you sought it out to obtain it, it's now under your protection.
yeah,
That would be how I would. That's what I would say from a moral standpoint. That is.
that's fair. Good luck, Take
From
Two.
a legal standpoint, I don't know. The leaker has been traced to a crypto wallet associated with the KuCoin coin exchange because KuCoin requires a Know Your Customer ID verification, aka KYC. It presented a significant vulnerability that corporate investigators will probably try to exploit at some point. CyberLeak claims they have distributed a playable build of the game globally on various hidden drives and servers. Protected by a dead man switch, they claim that unless they manually cancel the automated release every single day, the full game will leak to the public. Now, that was quite the claim when it was originally made. However, at the moment, it seems the claims were built on fabricated images and false discourse, with the fake ultimatum being manufactured and circulated by individuals online who were pretending to be the real leaker. Because that's the thing. If you don't know who he is, you're going to get a lot of pretenders.
Yeah.
And the claims were confirmed to be built on those fabricated images and false discourse, with the ultimatum being manufactured. And I accidentally posted the same thing here. What was supposed to be here is that I think it was Insider Gaming issued a retraction of the article they initially posted. So with them taking down the original article and issuing that retraction, it does seem like the initial dead man switch claim is dead and not real. But if you were the actual leaker, I don't see why you wouldn't try to do something. I mean, the original article had claimed like hundreds of things that they have to manually deactivate every 24 hours, which who's got time for that? But
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, but I could see a realm in which there's a handful. Why not? If you're already going down this rabbit hole, you may as well go all the way.
Yeah.
But who knows? I think we'll see a culmination of a lot of things tomorrow, because you have the official announcement, or the day that this is out, you have the official Netflix premiere of the extended gameplay video. So we'll get a lot of official details. So we'll see how real the leaks were and how up to date the build that they had access to is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to make a move, why not crash a launch party? So maybe there might be a major leak that they put something out there that same day.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, man. Yes, yesterday, today, I forget which day, but Rockstar did officially, outside of filing subpoenas, acknowledged the gameplay leaks, calling the situation heartbreaking for the development team. They confirmed the game is nearly there and apologized to fans for the long wait. The studio noted that the leaks might spoil intended experiences and asked fans to hold out for the official release. They reiterated the official launch date of November 19th and teased that an extended look at the game is coming tomorrow. So today, this came out today. They expressed deep gratitude for the outpouring of supportive messages for the community over the past week. And one thing that I did find endlessly entertaining is that the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division is actively using the game as a reenlistment initiative. Soldiers who agree to reenlist for a minimum of 2 years are being offered a special 4-day pass in November to play GTA 6 upon its release.
That's the wildest thing I think I've ever heard on this podcast.
The wildest. We've talked about some wild things. This is the wildest.
Yeah.
Hey, sign up for another 2 years. You get 4 days off to play GTA.
Yeah, I mean, I could go into the reasons why I think that's the wildest, but I don't think we need to.
I just instantly in my head, I'm like, yeah, but if you don't re-enlist, you get infinite amount of time to play GTA. So
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I assume there's a lot of other bonuses. I assume this was something that was tacked on to those, but I did find it endlessly entertaining. All right, any other comments about GTA or the leaker?
No.
No, fair enough. Okay, moving on to the other black sheep, PlayStation slash Sony has apparently been blacklisting a bunch of media outlets in India, such as High Chaos Run, following their coverage of the rumors that Sony was going to quietly end physical game disc production. Kind of true. Whether or not the full game disc production around the world ends is still to be seen. The blacklisted outlets were denied review codes and preview access to upcoming titles such as Marvel's Wolverine, Marvel Token, Fighting Souls, and Phantom Blade Zero. And in an extreme measure, PlayStation's PR agency allegedly blocked journalists directly on WhatsApp, which served as the primary communication channel for the press in India. And it highlights the growing tension and lack of transparency regarding the industry's shifts to an old digital future, with Sony CFO previously acknowledging the backlash over ceasing disc production for new titles, but stated the company's cautiously moving forward. I never like when companies blacklist for news they don't like. If it's true. If you reported untrue news with no verification or any caveat that it's a rumor,
Right.
then that's a whole separate thing, because that's just being irresponsible journalism. But for reporting things as a rumor and then providing the evidence that's talking about the rumor, that's 100% something that's acceptable if you're upfront about it, because otherwise you're crushing potential news.
Yep.
And this is just clearly a vindictive retaliatory measure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But at the exact same time, who's going to stop them?
I mean, you're not wrong. It's one of the reasons why you don't want a single company to ever actually win, because then they don't have to deal with any competition. But yeah, So that's out there. That's a bummer. One interesting piece of note that kind of seems like it comes from a good place, but like, I don't know. We'll get into it. You can decide for yourself here. I have my own thoughts. So a newly published Sony patent application, bunch of numbers, details an AI-controlled pseudo account designed to act as bait to catch scammers, cheaters, and predators on the PlayStation Network. Powered by large language models like GPT, the AI can convincingly mimic the chatting behavior and demographics of real users, including minors, to attract bad actors in multiplayer environments. Suspicious actions such as asking for personal information, attempting to move chats to a private channel, or spamming do not trigger an immediate ban. Instead, the system flags the user and proactively warns any legitimate players that they attempt to contact later of those suspicions. Look, I love being proactive and protecting your user base.
Sure.
I think especially catching scammers and cheaters is something that I'm all for AI to be involved in. I think real life operations where people attempt to expose or catch predators is something that should exist. I don't know how I feel about AI mimicking minors to get to the same end.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's dumb. That's just dumb. What I would rather
I get where it comes from, because real life agencies do this, right?
Yes, for sure.
They put out sting operations. But
my problem is the number of false positives. Right? At the end of the day,
they're not banning anybody.
Yeah, sure. But then we have seen anti-cheat systems be absolutely friggin' terrible, right? And this is just the next step forward, right? Sure, they're not banning anybody yet, right? That's what you always say.
Yeah.
It's literally always with you. It's almost always the slippery slope argument. And
Sure. It's 100%
when,
true.
especially when it comes down to like the whole predators thing, the number of false positives that I could see is astronomical.
I mean, because here's the thing too. It's a fighting battle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because kids are so interconnected nowadays, and it's becoming so much harder to tell your children they can't use online communications. It's becoming more and more difficult every day. So having a system that allows them to communicate and actively puts a notification in front of their face that says, hey, you shouldn't be communicating with this person because we have concerns, I agree with on principle, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I feel weirded out from the fact that we're training an AI to act like a minor.
Yeah.
To entrap people. I don't know. That just like it feels bad that adult people are doing it, but there is a thing of balancing catching people who do bad things with forcing good people to do bad things to catch bad people, right?
Right.
As opposed to training an AI that, how, like, does it go rogue? How does it do it? Does it start actively seeking out people and fulfilling some weird, unacceptable societal thing for these people? And even though they're being flagged, does it continue to fulfill their fantasy and talk to them the entire time?
Right.
Like, what's happening here at the end of the day is always what I become concerned with. And I am always concerned about the slippery slope, but the fact of the matter is people are starting to train AI to cheat for them.
Right.
Like, we're starting to get to the point where you're having AI mimic humans enough, but be better than most humans so that it's hard to detect, but it is still a cheat.
Yep.
And I don't see how you combat that without also involving AI. It becomes an arms race, right?
Yes, it absolutely does. And unfortunately, with the situation of the AI industry at the moment, we're in an arms race with the AI itself, because there have been proven studies at this point that AI, namely ChatGPT, will absolutely 100% lie to you on purpose. Not only will they lie to you on purpose, in some tests, they will actively murder someone 96% of the time.
Well, I just saw the study today, too, that they, in 95% of scenarios where AI gets access to nuclear weapons, they use them.
Yep, there's that one, too. It's insane. And the AI industry is sitting here and they're continuing to produce these AIs and releasing them into the wild, and they're expecting the older, dumber AIs to tell us when the newer AIs that are significantly smarter are lying to us. And I'm what? Come on.
Yeah, anything to please a person. This is where I come. This is exactly, you nailed it. This is exactly my concern personified. Thank you. Because obviously, I have a very draconian view on what should be done to people that do horrendous things in life, unspeakable crimes.
We won't say what it is, but you do.
Yeah, I do. And so training something that facilitates that yes mentality that just continues seems like it would end up eventually exacerbating all issues.
It absolutely does. And the problem is that AI, especially LLMs specifically, are effectively golden retrievers. Their whole job is to please you.
I mean, 100% correct. And let's change this to real life, right? Because the whole thing here is it says that it flags these accounts, right? It doesn't ban the cheaters, it doesn't ban the scammers, it doesn't ban the predators. It flags the accounts.
Correct.
what would happen in real life if police sting operations never actually arrested anybody? If all they did was encourage and participate in the bad behavior and then just flagged them on a database somewhere and tried to warn people around them to not interact with them. But the people in question never experienced any of this. So all they ever got was the affirmation from the undercover operatives.
Yep.
Like, that just seems like a scenario that doesn't lead to anything good happening in the end.
Well, and where does this go next, right? Like, now your account, which, you know, as we get further and further into required verification, is flagged as a potential predator. Do they just pass that information off to local authorities? Are you just further investigated without your knowledge?
Yep. I don't know. I have no idea. And to be clear here, an AI system that analyzes what somebody is doing, I'm not against. Training a system to participate in those things is where I have a concern with.
Yes, I thoroughly agree with that. But I also feel if you're specifically trying to catch things that are illegal, they need to have some sort of government oversight.
Or at least follow up, like actually have something productive happen from this quote unquote work you're putting in. But
yeah. My point is that if Sony has that information, they can do whatever they want with it. That includes make money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a good point, right? Like if they're training an AI to basically be baited by scammers, right? And so scammers are constantly feeling victorious, like they're good at scamming. They're more likely to probably stay on the platform and try to continue scamming people. Correct. So Sony is getting a benefit out of it. You do make a good point, a scary good point.
Well, and on top of that, if this is what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. There are statistics out there that, you know, people who are into certain things, right? We won't talk about what, but people who are into certain things are often into other things, right? True. And if we have AIs that are, you know, currently already very good at continuing a conversation in a direction that pleases the user, there are plenty of these. Look at frickin' character.ai. It's a problem because these large corporations are going to start to use this as some form of pseudo advertisement where they try and push things to you through that AI that you have built a quote unquote rapport with,
which could exacerbate any, you know, minor tendencies that you have for thieving or whatever.
Yeah. And heaven forbid at the exact same time, this goes into the hands of a child by accident.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
And that's honestly, I think, my biggest concern because again, AIs are intended to please you, to do anything you want them to do. And that is the last thing that a child needs.
Yeah, are children gonna find solace in this AI person that they think is real, convincing them that you should cheat? It's just to get an advantage. It does no harm, and now you're actively training them to cheat to gain an advantage.
Yeah, you're creating the problem. And then my next guess is you're probably going to sell someone the solution.
Or just create a bigger problem that you can make money off of.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, I think we've said our piece about this. Love the idea of trying to catch people doing bad things. Don't love how this is approaching it. Seems like a very, as you said earlier, slippery slope, a lot of pitfalls type of thing. And speaking of slippery slopes, Sony has also patented a picture-in-picture system that uses AI to display short-form content while players wait in lobbies or during in-game loading screens. The AI automatically gauges the expected wait time to serve appropriate filler content, which can include gameplay tips, match highlights, social media clips, or advertisements. The game loads faster. If the game loads faster than the AI anticipated, the video content will seamlessly fade out or stop so it does not interrupt the actual gameplay experience.
No, it won't. It absolutely will not, especially if it's an advertisement. What it will actually do is it will delay your loading screen further, and you'll just wonder why this game has shitty loading times.
Yep, that's exactly my first thought process. Look, when microtransactions came around, okay, it didn't make games faster. It made all the grinds worse.
Yes.
So that they could sell you the solution to get back to what it used to be. Yep. None of it actually improved anything.
Correct.
So exactly to your point, it's going to delay everybody from playing the game, because I have no doubt it won't stop one person from playing, because people would get instantly pissed off if it only, like, if I was the only person that didn't load into the game on time because I had to watch an advertisement. That's going to be people burning down the town square. But if everybody's delayed because they're all being filled advertisements, or at least some of them are being filled with advertisements, so it's just going to delay everybody in general, absolutely I could see that being something that somebody who wants money does.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
There's no question about it. Look, I'm not opposed to someone using a loading screen, or a company using a loading screen to do something, right?
Yeah, but sure. Show me cool tips. Like, how to use, like, hey, did you know you could do this specialty move in the game? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can absolutely do things like that. Hell, I wouldn't even necessarily be opposed to a splash screen of an advertisement, but it needs to be a splash screen. It needs to not be a video that has a timer, and now all of a sudden that video's duration is my loading bar.
The fact of the matter is, we don't trust any company to actually utilize this appropriately.
Correct.
We're going to go full circle. We're going to go from having freaking 5-minute loading screens to having one or seamless transitions, right? Because we're at that point in time. Yes, some games still have loading screens, but we are at the point in time where you can make a game where all you have to do is put a little segment on the level where your character has to squeeze through a little crevice, and by the time they've squeezed through that crevice, the game has loaded the other end of the tunnel. Like that's here. We have eliminated loading screens for most places. We are going to go back to a time where we have 5-minute loading screens, and it's going to be because I have to watch a freaking advertisement.
Yeah. And I'll be 100% real with you. Match highlights, social media clips, those sound dope.
Oh, that would be super cool.
I love that idea. That's not what a freaking conglomerate is going to do.
Yeah, could you imagine, a lot of games have in-system, in-console, in-game video clip options, right? That would be awesome if I clipped something cool that happened and this particular piece of technology pulled from my gaming clips to show me a cool moment I had. That would be dope. I'd be like, oh yeah, that moment was awesome, and it would psych me up for the game. I'd be on board for that. But
you know what I would want it to do?
What's that?
I want it to pull my dopest clips in a match that I'm loading into, and I want it to display it to the other players that I'm playing against so that they're terrified. That's honestly, what I want.
That's kind of interesting where it randomizes videos for people. So you could see a video from someone who's in your lobby that you're loading into.
Yeah.
That could actually be pretty cool. I'd be on board because
I mean, you kind of talked about it with the whole like only one. If it only did it to one person, it would be a bad thing, right? League of Legends literally changed its loading screen so that you can't see the MS of other people. Mm-hmm. You can't see the loading times of other people. You can't see anything related to that person's ability to play the game based on internet or computer entirely. To fix that problem, because they noticed that it was just an immediate, like, it was just an immediate flag. Yeah, well, and it oftentimes just led to toxicity.
That's true. Hey, get off your potato.
Exactly. Such and such is playing on a toaster.
Hey, you poor, buy something better.
Yes.
What, you can't afford bread? That's not my problem.
I just want to say, if you can't afford bread, why are you playing League of Legends?
You're not wrong.
Like, I'm confused.
Hey, bread is a luxury nowadays, okay?
I mean, you're kind of not wrong, but also you can just make that shit yourself really cheap.
I mean, to be fair, the entire French Revolution was kind of started over the lack of people being able to get bread, so.
Their baguettes are important, okay?
I mean, don't at me. There was so much more to it, okay? I'm making a joke. Don't at me. Anyways, interesting piece of tech. Like with any technology that exists, it depends on how you use it. This could be awesome and super cool in a lot of ways, but there's no way that the company in charge of this is not going to have it be at some point be detrimental, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the last piece of Sony news that we have is they decided that they have their own Kindle and therefore did not have to read the room, because in late August, they started sending out mass automated emails to PlayStation Network users containing the full text of their terms of service, privacy policy, and end user licensing agreement, aka EULA. The email explicitly reminded players that, quote, the software is licensed to you, not sold, end quote, meaning players do not legally own their digital games, which we have talked about before. Furthermore, it outlines that if an account is closed or banned, access to all said purchases and digital games are revoked. Other aggressive terms highlighted by the community included Sony's right to record voice chats, IP addresses, and to sell those or place ads on user-shared clips without compensating the creator, and a strict liability cap of €100 if Sony's found at fault. So what did we literally say about being responsible?
Correct. See, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look, plain and simple, you should not be able to dictate how I interact with the legal system just by purchasing a product from you, or whether that be a product or a license at this point. You should not be able to force me into arbitration. You should not be able to determine what your liability is up front. That should be determined by a court.
Yep. But every company in the world disagrees with you. I mean, there's a whole battle about right to repair. I mean, I think one of the famous things is like farmers who buy John Deere tractors can't work on their own tractors. Like,
that's the wildest thing I think I've ever heard.
Dude, it's crazy.
Well, I believe it. That's the stupid thing. I believe it. But also, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But anyways, so Sony officially confirming that sold is not selling. So.
Well, if you ain't selling, I ain't buying, so.
The problem is that a lot of people also need to participate in that exact same statement, and I doubt it'll actually happen that way.
Me too.
Well, on that very, very depressing note, we hope that you have a wonderful time this week, and you need to close those books and pack your bags. And on your way out, make sure to, say goodbye to your friends and enjoy your time that you spent with them, because as you move through class and life, it'll never be the same, okay? You can never go back to the old classmates. It's just not gonna happen, okay?
Plague getting deep. All right.
Anyways, we hope you enjoy your time off and look forward to your participation next time. Peace.
See ya.